They come around under a rolling start. We get the 2025 Trico Victorian State Circuit Racing Championship for Sports Sedans underway, and it is Dean Cam that gets the throttle down hard. He's running good years for the first time here this weekend, and I've got to say, he didn't have a super impressed look on his face. John Ippolito down the inside, wants to lead into turn one. And we've got Cadell having to take evasive action. He keeps into it, comes in off the back of the ripple strip and just rejoins there. Brett Dickey, he's searching around the outside there in the under 2 litre turbocharged car. And this is Sports Sedans. Welcome, Cadell. There it is, down into turn number 2. He's trying to keep this car in one piece. He doesn't want to put a scratch on it. And he's got Andy Brown in his mirrors. Now, there's a guy that'll tear the advanced car carrier sticker off the side of your car under brakes down into Dandenong Road.
Yeah, I know the tyres that Cadell's got on that car are quite a few years old, and it's a bit hard to see what the track conditions are actually like out there in terms of dampness at the moment. Some of the guys might have slicks on, I'm not sure, but I can tell you now for him, this is his first time driving that car in these conditions on old tyres. So, as you said, he just wants to bring it back in one piece. They're just about putting miles on that car this weekend, and I'm sure he'll get plenty of opportunity over the weekend to show his speed.
Let's have a look at the back of the Brett Dickey car. It's got the whole diffuser and rear bumper. It's flapping around there, and this car relies on its aero package almost more than anything. Turbocharged, 4-cylinder car. Brett is back off to the USA in a month's time, and he has just re-announced his assault on the Pikes Peak hill climb as well. Massive international event. Brett's been doing it for a number of years, and we wish him all the very best on his international time here. Ippolito and Greg Lynch going for it here. This is for the minor positions at the moment. This is 3rd and 4th, or is it 2nd and 3rd on the road. There's Brett Dickey. Let's wind up the turbo and get him going up the back straight here. Cubic inches down. And we've got Jim Policina in there as well, down from New South Wales. Always great to have Jim drop in for a race. Look at Brett Dickey now. Looks out behind Greg Lynch. Lines up the back of the Ippolito Black Commodore. But the turbo car just missing out on it there as well. Boy, oh boy, that's some frustration there. The Bollards direct entry, a magnificent looking machine. And I've got to say, they all are. Policina looks to the inside, an ex-supercar. He's got lots and lots of data to call on with that car. So those things do pound around here in the Sandown 500. Plenty of reference charts to refer to. And of course, Dean Lilly in the background doing all the mastery. But Jim Policina, huge experience, great racing car driver. And I've got to say, Adrian Reed, brand new engine in that car. And this is a hark to yesteryear, I guess you'd have to say. Darren, these things, these minis, they're as long as they are wide and can sometimes be a bit of a handful. But boy, Sports Sedans would be nothing without the beginnings of those things in the category, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. If you think back to, like the late 70s, early 80s, when they had the mini series, I think it was the Super Brick series, and yeah, there was a lot of minis, and I guess they're all tucked away in people's garages, but fortunately there's one that isn't. And
Adrian has been, I said it at a presentation dinner for the Sports Sedans last week. Follow his Facebook page because it is an immaculate home build, and that's exactly what it is, like a lot of these cars are. And we just see Cadell Ambrose finding his feet, following Jim Policina, Greg Lynch, who's had massive power steering problems all through 2024. They've got themselves an ex-supercar rack in that thing now, and let's hope that he's put 2024 behind him and he can start to get his season underway. And it looks to me like we're getting reports back, rain underway. You see the flaggies reaching up for their hoods there as well, so it's definitely raining. All these cars are on slicks, and there goes Greg Lynch. He goes round, everyone taking evasive action. Ooh. There's Andy Brown, a club car racer from the 90s, an excellent engineer of race cars. He eases past in his Camaro there as well. Dean Cam happily out in front in the number 66, 5-star fencing outfit there. John Ippolito now, and he's got Jim Policina, Cadell Ambrose in the bright blue Audi on debut in Sports Sedans, just trickling along there. He's got the big banner, advanced car carriers down the side of his car.
Greg had actually done the hard work then. He got past John, and then the moment he got past, he sort of threw it away. But that was at the point where the rain came down, and I guess in that group, he was the pioneer a little bit there. So it'll be interesting now that it has got a little wetter, to see. We don't know exactly what condition everyone's tyres are in and what they're running. it looks now like Cadell's sort of starting to wind up the wick a little bit. He's had enough of sitting in that group, and he's probably knocked the scale off those tyres a bit, and he looks like he wants to press on a bit now.
He certainly found his groove, hasn't he? And this is, I guess, really the only first opportunity for him to run with it free, and that is getting very squirrely under there. So you know he's got the boot into it, and you know the clouds are absolutely opening up down there at Dandenong Road. It's, for all intents and purposes, in the main straight, it's dry. And we've got another car that's looped it there. That's the Lynch car, of course, went round there a lap or so ago. So he's trying to gather it all back up again. Everybody keeping off those painted lines now. That will bring you unstuck.
Yeah, Sandown's got many challenges, and one of them is it does seem to rain on some parts of the circuit and not others. The other challenge is also the surface. You know, some of the surface which they're approaching now, heading into turn 2, has been there since 1984, so it's actually quite slippery. Looks like Dean Cam's actually got some sort of problem there, because Johnny Polito's passed him, and also Cadell Ambrose as well. So maybe the car's sitting down a bit in the right rear corner, or...
His first time on Goodyears too. He was running on some old Hancooks yesterday, so he's got some Goodyears on board there as well, and that was interesting. It was Thomas Randall that ran on Goodyears here last year as well, and he ran on Michelin's as well, and of course Thomas holds the lap record at a 107.44. We're well south of that, and of course in these horrible conditions. Darren, what are you thinking out there now in a sports sedan shod with slicks?
Well, if you've got slicks, and I dare say that Dean Cam probably does, looking at the rate that he's gone backwards, looks like we've got double wave yellow there. You know, sports sedans has many challenges when it rains, and the first is just vision. You know, like the cars want to fog up. On Cadell's car, we actually just covered the inside of the windscreen with shampoo, if you can believe it, because that seems to keep the fog down. So we've just gone under safety car now. So dealing with vision is one of the issues. You know, a lot of these guys don't race in the wet very often, so when they do drag the wets out, fair to say they're not always premium wets. Having said that, I've got a brand new set that I just picked up off Russell Stuckey this morning that would have been good in these conditions. But anyway, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But yeah, it looks like now, I mean, most of the guys look like they can see out the windscreen's okay, and you know, that's always a good thing. Yeah, but, you know, horsepower and a lack of grip is never an ideal situation to manage, is it?
Darren, you were in the race here, I think it was a Sandown 500, about 98, 99, where the clouds open, and that turn 1 was like a skating rink. Everyone came boring out of the pits down the hill, and there was Coke cars into the fence. There was, I think they were called pack leader cars at that point into the fence down there at turn 1. That surface, even to this day, over 20 years later, is still tricky at turn 1, isn't it?
Well, it's a bit ironic. When we do driver training, we used to do a power oversteer exercise down at turn 1 because it was slippery. And what happened, they'd resurfaced it, and it had that much grip that when we hosed it down, we couldn't do the exercise anymore. So the likes of myself, Stephen White, Andy McGuinness, all the driver trainers, when it rained that weekend, we're like, we know about all the grip down at turn 1. Well, I can tell you, the grip wasn't there. It was so slippery, and I think that year, with 3 laps to go, I was running 3rd in the Sandown 500, and Fred Gibson said, Hossack, 8 laps to go, and I thought, this is it, this is the breakthrough, and I counted them down. The checkered flag didn't come out, and as he started to speak, I aquaplaned and backed it into the fence at turn 1. So 0 to 0 in one foul swoop.
And I definitely wasn't referring to that. I was just saying that there was so many rock stars that spun it.
Well,
at
absolutely.
Turn 1. Like some cars went down the fence for 300 metres. It was that slippery. And the water, it was aquaplaning. The water was an inch deep across the straight. And it's certainly a cruel way that motorsport does throw at us. But the sports sedan field now coming under control. A big shout out to Advance Car Carriers, of course, being down the side of the John Gourlay Audi, being driven by the young gun Cadell Ambrose, but emblazoned across the front window of the entire field. We all acknowledge that we don't go racing without sponsors, whether it be at club sprints or here at state level or national level racing, and to see the likes of Trico seeing you through with their wiper blades with this entire Championship for 2025, and we applaud them for that. But a lot of these other club-type sponsors helping us through. And really, we look at the sides of the cars, and Brett Dickey comes into view there with Dean Cam behind him. Bollard's direct, you know, Graham Gilliland and his business throwing support to him as well. And, you know, take that car out of the equation. That's a tribute livery. Everyone else has got, you know, Ma and Pa type organisations that help keep their race cars going around and round, don't they?
Yeah, and the reality is, you know, any sort of support that you can get is going to be welcomed. You know, fortunately through Blendline TV, you get to showcase those supporters. And I'll tell you what, I look at Johnny Polito's car, and I reckon he's got a Trico blade there. It looks to be doing a great job wiping the water off the screen, doesn't it?
And it doesn't even look like it's raining now. It's just keeping the screen warm, I would suggest.
I reckon he's just showing off. Going, look what
I've got
guys.
some Tricos.
Yeah.
How to get on TV? You just get the Trico blades running across your windscreen. So there it is, our race leader, Jim Policino, down from New South Wales. Vastly experienced driver. I guess his main attention these days is touring car masters, and those cars are very, very rapid indeed. So safety car is accelerating away. Jim knows how to restart races under safety cars. Done a lot of production car type racing in a Lotus and a GDS as well. Ryan Simpson on board, of course Dean Lilly, who prepares this car, also drove with him in that, and away we go. Johnny Polito now looks to the inside. Cadell, Ambrose just feeling their way around, and the track is now, for all intents and purposes, in a dry condition. Dean Cam fanning out across the track, everyone being well aware that you can't overtake until you hit that control line, and they've given these three front runners a massive gap to the rest of the field. And I think it might have been McGlurkin Senior that was sitting back there in P4 that has just let this front pack skip away. So it's two Commodores, an ex-supercar, a bespoke floor pan sports sedan that won last year's floor pan or production championship in the sports sedans, and the brand new John Gourlay owned Audi with its brand new sticker on the side, Advanced Car Carriers. Here's the rest of the field being led by Brett Dickey. He is chasing it down now to Dean Cam. Ben McLeod, he's got through there as well in the red Commodore. Big thanks to Ben for right across the Blendline TV crew and the commentary team for the coffees here this weekend. There's the shout out, Ben. Does a terrific job. The Black Mamba Racing entry, it has had a massive birthday over the off-season. First couple of seasons, Ben was ever the gentleman, was learning how to do it. Last year, it seemed to be popping tyres and damage all around. He's given it a good birthday over the off-season, and it looks magnificent again, but he's turned the level up. He's not coming to the track now to run 5th or 6th. He's coming to the track to take out a title, and that car number 72, has certainly got the goods, and the driver is fully prepared to do the job as well.
Looking at the lap times that they're doing now, you know, you'd have to say, Des, that the track's actually quite dry, and looking at the speed that Dean Cam sort of got, you know, I'd say he didn't have a problem. He's probably on a dry tyre, you know, and now the track's dried out, he's sort of coming back again at these guys. But although having said that, he probably has lost a little bit of speed there.
How's this for a true sports sedan battle? These cars are moving around on a tricky surface, and these two are not giving each other an inch. We can just see by the wind blowing off up there that it is definitely a tricky condition. When you get up to VMAX up the straight here, that wind will be buffeting these cars around. You can actually see Brett Dickey's giving it a good metre clearance to the edge of the track there, so he's feeling a lot of that buffeting around of the car going up that hill.
Yeah, Brett and I actually spoke about that yesterday, and he was saying, you know, you feeling the car moving around at the end at the back straight, and obviously when you've got a smaller, lighter car, and particularly in Brett's case, got quite a lot of aero on it, any wind that is around, and obviously that's the highest part of the circuit, it is certainly going to have an impact on moving the car around on the circuit a little bit. But this is a great battle, isn't it? I mean, two different types of cars you would not find, and the speed is quite good, and Ben's going really well. We know he's put a lot of work into that car over the off season, and
lead change, swap back again.
I tell you what, you got to hand it to John Ippolito, don't you? He's pulled his big boy pants on today, and he's having a bit of a crack. So Yeah, it's actually quite a race up at the front.
He couldn't get to the presentation dinner last week to get his trophy from last season because he had his mum's birthday. I said to him, good boy, look after mum.
Absolutely.
You're going to win another championship at some stage. It's never going to be your mum's birthday at that year again. So good on him for doing that. Jim Policina's got the light switched on. Here comes Brett Dickey. Ben's got the lights switched on there as well. And lurking in between all of them is the bright blue car, the 17-year-old Cadell Ambrose. Yes, that's right, son of Rowan Ambrose, multiple lap record holder in the club car and in early days and improved production in his RX-7, rotary engine guru international. And this is the next generation, and I've got to say the next generation is way more focused on it and certainly an improvement. And I said that to Rowan's face yesterday, so he'll accept that. And of course, Susie, Cadell's mum, ever the fan, off to the sidelines there. I saw her a little bit nervous today, and she even admitted to me, I'm never normally nervous, but I'm really nervous to see Cadell. But he wasn't. He's just stepping out, isn't he?
I honestly, I gave him a few words of wisdom just prior to the start there about, soften the sway bars off and this and that. And he looked at me like, mate, I got this, don't worry about it. I've been doing this a while now, so... look, the thing that impresses me with Cadell is he's just so mature in that he's not trying to impress anyone. He respects the equipment. He knows it's a new car and it's going to have some teething issues, and he's just going about his business and doing a good job of it. So
I said to Susie this morning, Darren, I said, the last time I spoke to a young bloke that had so much poise was at Queensland Raceway, and his name was Oscar Piastri.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just moved around the outside of John there, so... he's brought it up into second position. We're on the last lap now, so not sure if he'll settle for that or if he'll have a bit of a lunge down here at Jim. Looks like he's decided he'll at least show the nose, but probably ran senior there, getting in the, well, not getting in the way, I shouldn't say
getting
that,
out of the way.
being in the wrong spot for that move to occur. So looks like Jim's going to hang on to this one, and not a bad race in the end, Daz.
Certainly, Jim Policina takes first blood in the Advanced Car Carriers Victorian Sports Sedan Championship. An ominous sign for the rest of this weekend anyway, as we expect the National Championship program to come the way of Cadell Ambrose. He gives that car its debut in position number 2 as John Ippolito into position number 3 trying to defend his title. Brett Dickey home in 4, Ben McLeod in the number 72 doing a very clean race. And I've got to hand it to both Brett and Ben. They read the conditions, they did it well. Dean Cam as well was like, I need to keep a sensible head on my shoulders and bring the 66 home. Then it is Andy Brown in the number 60 Camaro Sims. And then we go to, I think it'll be Adrian Munger next, and Brogno coming through there. But we've had our top 8. There's Sims and Munger through. In Brogno, Sammy Brogno in the almost standard type of Toyota 86 there. Greg Lynch after a torrid old affair getting home in 11th. Darden Brown to be the next one through. Ram McGlurkin Senior completing 8 laps. Tegan Collins also in the black RX-7 keeping well out of the way, just driving a race on a dry tyre in tricky conditions, and great to see Tegan back out on track for this season. Adrian Reed Sandley parked up, and there's a tribute there to you, Darren, into the commentary booth there as well. So
actually, P16, I'll take that. That's
take
all right.
Points for that.
That was the cheapest race I've ever had.
Well, Darren Hossack, thank you so much. And look, if you're around tomorrow, or if you're doing some work on building more race cars or something tomorrow, we'd love to have you in the commentary booth to enlighten us on what it's like to race these gods of thunder. And I guess we see you at the next round, or unless you can source parts overnight tomorrow morning for a race.
Yeah, I'll just sort of see. I mean, I was sort of planning on doing Malala historics and all, but, I'm not knowing what's broken and how long it's going to take to make, whatever. But no pressure. This is just all about fun for me, so it can't be stressful at any point. But I'll no doubt see you tomorrow.
Fantastic. Thanks, Darren, to have you here. Well, that is the Advanced Car Carriers, QP Lubes and National Blind Supplies Victorian Sports Sedans clear of the track now. On track next is the sports cars for their first 20-minute race. Then we'll go straight into Formula V, Formula Ford, improved production, and we'll finish today with the Porsche 944 Challenge. Stick with us. Make sure you stay on the YouTube channel for Blendline TV, or follow it via the Victorian State Race Series Facebook page. But certainly YouTube offers you the best uninterrupted coverage right throughout the 2025 season. The Trico Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships presented by 888 Home Loans. We'll be back in just a couple of moments with Sports Cars. We lost one of the absolute greats in the early days of Sports Sedans. Talking about one of the absolute greats in the early days of Sports Sedans, I've been joined by Chris Neal, who is life member number 1 from the Sports Sedan Association, who would like to say some words about Brian Tomo Thompson. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Mr. Smith.
Thank you very much.
Now, as a first-generation Sports Sedan competitor from the grassroots, I was absolutely rapt when Tomo came across to join our category. And it was a delight walking up here into the tower this morning to see the Sports Sedan Association flag flying at half-mast near the start-finish box. It's a tribute to a fantastic competitor in motorsport, but did a lot for Sports Sedans. People are very familiar with his later cars that he had, with the Volkswagen in particular, which was revolutionary. The Mercedes, which was to follow, and then Supra after that. But early days, Brian was in a Tirana, which was pretty much the way guys went in Sports Sedans, with a Chev in it, Run Baby Run on the spoiler across the front, and he always ran with a smile. He was always seen to be smiling, and recently the Sports Sedan Association, well, nearly 3 years ago, had a 50-year celebration, and Tomo was one of the first to accept at 87 years of age. When he arrived, he said, "I'm excited." I said to him when he was leaving, "See you at the 60th, Brian." And he said, "That's being positive." So we're very sad to see Tomo go. Certainly missed around the traps, and an absolute delight. And Vale Tomo.
Thank you very much, Chris. I know those words are heartfelt, coming from Chris Neal, or Mr. Neal respectively, referred to the establishment, and great to have such kind words spoken about you. I hope people talk about me when I'm gone like that. I've been joined right alongside me now for the serious bit, race number 2 of the weekend, the feature race for the Sports Sedans, by a guy who I'm pretty sure will be remembered along the same lines as Tomo in Sports Sedans, but we're nowhere near that yet, are we? Darren Hossack, welcome.
Oh, look, I hope I'm not quite at that point, but no, look, Tomo was, you know, as a young lad growing up, you know, to remember the Brian Thompson Mercedes, which I've been fortunate enough to have since drive. Simon Fitzner owns that car now. Just, you know, Sports Sedans back in that era was just fantastic, and as Chris pointed out, you know, Brian Thompson was a name that was synonymous with the category, and it's very sad that we've lost him.
Yeah, look, I guess motorsport in Australia is ticking up in the years now, and we start to lose some of these names that you and I as kids, I guess, looked over the fence and enjoyed watching them, and it's probably why we're still involved in the sport today, trying to emulate those great names. This is a rolling start, so we'll get on with it. There's been a lot of machinations going on in the background since yesterday's race. There was some confusion under safety car. I guess we've just got to put that all to one side, and to try and explain it all is going to take hours and hours of stewards hearing, and that's what's been going on. We'll just call the grid as it is, and if you need any sort of updates, then keep your eye on the Facebook pages, because I'm sure people will be contributing to the conversation around that. John Ippolito will take up his first pole position in a rolling start here, right alongside Brett Dickey in the number 29. Now, these two had a pretty hard run up to turn 1 yesterday. Let's see if they can calm it all down and get it done nicely here today. Ben McLeod, second row of the grid, with Dean Cam right alongside Jim Policina, who got to the line first yesterday, with Cadell Ambrose right behind him. Cadell, of course, on debut in the category and in debut in John Gourlay's new Audi. Andrew Brown, a fierce racer, out of 7. And we get underway. Ippolito's car goes up in smoke as he tries to get power down off the turn number 12 there and points it up the straight here. Brett Dickey just getting chased down a little bit round the outside. Looks Dean Cam, but it'll be the Black Commodore of Ippolito that went up in lots of smoke. No idea what that came from. Did he lock up or something coming into the last corner? They go down into turn number 2. It'd be the Black Commodore and the red bonnet with the big M on the front of it there for Policina, looking to it. Cadell Ambrose just looking nice there. He's sitting pretty there, trying to keep out of trouble. He doesn't want to put a scratch on that car. Neither does Ben McLeod, because he's given that thing a real happy birthday in the off-season.
Yeah, he has, and that start was a much cleaner start than yesterday, other than that, smoke that appeared to be coming from John's left front wheel. Everyone got away well there. We can see Cadell there having a bit of a look on the outside around Jim Policina. I think Jim probably knows that's not his fight to be fighting there. So good start from everyone there.
So Cadell Ambrose in the Advanced Car Carriers, the new naming rights sponsor for the Victorian Sports Sedans. And that's the 76 down there, the 75, of Aidan Munger. This car's had another one that's had a big birthday in the off-season and has not run trouble-free for him here this weekend. So it's a real shame. Tegan Collins also started off the rear of the grid with Rand McGlurkin, and I didn't actually see if the Mini of Adrian Reed, no, it didn't make it onto the grid there. So that's a shame. Another car that had lots of work done on the engine over the summer. So that's a shame. There was a switch of cars there for Adrian. Was going to be running the R53, the 2003 Mini, but I don't think it... Yeah, it actually is. It's actually out there on track there. It is just looking after its tyres, running on radials, so not swerving around too much. There's the new John Gourlay Audi, and it's bright blue. Gee, it could be quite easily, to an old set of eyes like mine, mistaken in colour with Dean Cam, couldn't it?
Yeah, it does, and it looks very similar to John's old car, although there are some body updates that have been made to that car, and over the course of time, the other car unfortunately caught fire with Jordan Caruso at the wheel at Tailem Bend, and John's got that in pieces. It's slowly being rebuilt. He said it's 8 years since it was built, he said to me, and I said, John, we bought that car out in 2008, so it was well due a birthday, so it'll get some of the upgrades that this new car's got in the body department.
I do like that. That's a happy memory that you can take through your years, can't you? It's 8 years old. It's more like 12, 13 years old car. But there you go. That's kind of the nature of John Gourlay. Always looking forward, isn't he?
He is, and I keep saying to him, I applaud his enthusiasm and determination, because building these cars, certainly to the level that he does, it's a challenge. You've just got to look at that new car, and it's a beautiful piece of work, and they do have their teething problems, and John just forges forwards and just seems to get it done. But it looks like now the car's run relatively faultlessly this weekend. A few little things, but no sort of showstoppers. So this will be a good sort of run for Cadell. Hopefully I'm sure he'll find a bit of clear track and be able to sort of settle in. He still, as a driver, in practice it was very crowded out there, so he'll still be finding his braking markers and turning points and things like that. So hopefully, I think this will be a fairly short safety car, and we'll get away, and he'll be able to open her up a little bit.
Good to see Matt Sims out there in the BMW as well. I haven't had a good chance to look over that car yet, but a new name appearing in there, a New South Wales competitor that's come down to Victoria, and we love to see the New South Wales Raiders come down here and have a crack at the Victorian Sports Sedans, or whether it be Formula Ford, Formula V, whatever it may be. But certainly good to see the BMW brand in sports sedans. It won a state championship with Shane Woodman back in, I think, 2014, 2015. And Shane, of course, went on to run National Series, is now a GT racer with the great Ben Schutz, and they're doing some good things there as well. But really nice to see that BMW mixed up in the field there, and let's hope that we see this New South Wales racer more at the track here in Victoria. There's Brett Dickey. Now, some huge news, and we'll get to your situation in just a moment, Darren, but Brett Dickey's done the Pikes Peak Hill Climb a couple of times now. The process is it's such a massive international event. You've got to wait for an invitation. So you put an application in, you wait for your invitation to go to Pikes Peak. He's received that. The project import team, I'm pretty sure the guys in California, they love to get up in the middle of the night and watch how Brett's going. So big shout out to the team that will take this Aussie to Pikes Peak. There's Brett in the Bollards Direct Gilliland supported outfit. Big shout out to Brett's dad, who manages to keep this car absolutely pristine as much as he can, and they've done a diff in that car as well overnight, and they've had to do some rear diffuser work to patch that car all back up as well. So like many teams, little family outfit that relies on a bit of corporate support there as well. So There goes the 75 of Aidan Munger. We should, if there's nothing else going on, we should go green again. But that little 4-cylinder turbo currently sitting in P2. When you look at the 1, 2, 3 cars behind, all high capacity V8s, and Sandown being the home of horsepower, 2 big long straights, it's going to be tough for Brett to hang on to that.
Yeah, it is. You know, my little RX-7's a bit the same. You can lap reasonably well, but you don't have the power where you need it. But I think, you know, look, Brett's car's, you know, it is reasonably quick down the straight, so it'll be interesting here to see, you know, what happens. We've probably got a few cars out of position, you know, with certainly Dean Cam. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as they all charge down to turn 1. As you said, it looks like the lights are out on the safety car now, and we can do a bit more racing.
So everyone's poised to get underway here. We've got to remember no overtaking before you get to that line. And the cars line up nicely. John's got it controlled. He'll have it in the gear. He wants to jump away in and hopefully take advantage. Brett right in behind him. He's not going to miss the restart. And away we go. Back under green flag conditions. Dean Cam looks out, as does, looking down the inside, the John Gourlay Audi being driven by Cadell Ambrose. Power race now with Cam. Cam goes out wide. Ambrose looks to the inside. Puts it in, slots it there. Dean knows that if he can hang on, he's going to have the inside running at 2. Brett Dickey just drifts out, takes the ultimate line there. So the pass for Cadell has to wait for another corner later on in the race. And let me tell you, the Corvette's wide anyway. But when Dean wants to grow a couple of more inches out each side, he can certainly make that Corvette very, very wide. I've loved watching Dean Cam race over many, many years here. He looks up the inside of the Honda, and this is where the horsepower race will come in.
Yeah, Brett's, well, I was going to say he's a sitting duck there, but he's managed to hold Dean out. So he took the defensive line up the back straight, and Dean wasn't able to get anything done there. But that was good racing from both Dean and Cadell. They gave each other a bit of room there. Turn 2 and 3 is quite tight here at Sandown. And, yeah, they're racing hard. Dean, gee, he's looking menacing now, isn't he? He's looking all over the place.
I think Dean's probably looking in his mirrors and going, I thought I'd dispatched an Ambrose 15 years ago when we were racing club cars together, and then the next generation's got all the firepower coming at him. Jim Policina as well. Look at Dean, he's covering off the run up the inside here. Is he going to have a crack down the inside of Brett as the big capacity of the Corvette, drives on by there. Frustration there for Brett Dickey. He's only running a conservative boost pattern in that car as well. He does have 3 settings, and I did check it out. It is running conservative here. So the Bollard's direct entry is as you said, Darren, I guess he's a bit of a sitting duck. Brett, an amazingly skilled racer, so he'll do all the racecraft he possibly can to make that a difficult pass.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do. I mean, Sandown is a horsepower track, as you said. And
Cadell Ambrose slowing.
Slowing down, that's unfortunate.
Slowing down. Gee, I wonder if the heat soak whilst under safety car has caused an issue. I know in early testing there was some issues with heat soak and heat in this car, being that the engine is legitimately sitting right along the hip of Cadell. And that engine has gone further back than John had it in the previous iteration of his Audi Sports Sedan. So it seems to be back going again now, but going up the back straight certainly wasn't on the high performance. Have a look at this. Jim Policina in the Mocom X Supercar draws alongside the turbocharged Sports Sedan. Bit of a weight disadvantage there as well. The Honda definitely carrying less weight than the X Supercar. Dean Cam got the fire lit and in P1. His happy place. This is where Dean Cam has spent most of his time since he's had that Corvette. In fact, the Honda he had beforehand. Policina goes to the grass there and passes Dickey.
Look who's coming, Daz. Andrew Brown. He's just slowly working his way into this race.
Yes, if Cadell's dad had anything to say, he'd say, watch out for that white Camaro. He'll tear the stickers off the side of your car going past. I've enjoyed watching and racing, not actually against Andrew Brown, but in the same race. He tore the stickers off the side of my car more than twice, lapping me. But have a look at this. He's having a good run with Cadell now. It's a good bit of a lesson in sports sedaning there. There's the McGlurkin car parked up on the driver's left. But Cadell's got back through, and we're just watching now. Brett Dickey going to be dealing with the young 17-year-old. And, gee, what a career he's got in front of him. Driving a sports sedan of this ilk, even though it's on debut and it's brand new, Very little amount of shakedown and practice. Indeed, you can count the laps on two hands that he's had in this car, and now he's mixing it up with some extremely experienced campaigners.
Yeah, you can see there, just having a look at the wing that is bouncing around on the back of Cadell's car there. It's something that when I was driving the car at Winton, we had a few problems with it collapsing, and it's been beefed up, but it clearly needs a little bit more re-engineering to go in. That car originally was actually Jeff Barnes' car, which was a Pontiac Firebird, and John bought that and essentially used all the components to build this car, and the rear wing structure is the original stuff that was on Jeff's car.
Johnny Polito now just going back a couple of spots, has led early. He's now in the clutches of Brett Dickey, and have a look at this. Andrew Brown is starting to move that Camaro around. That is a magnificent build. He's built that one himself. Don't be confused. It's not some Trans Am or something like that. It is actually a sports sedan. And this guy has built numerous cars and won numerous championships, and harks right back to an RX-3 in road reg and club car era. But Andrew Brown is an avid racer and knows what he wants to achieve as Cadell Ambrose slots himself into P2. This is where he finished yesterday, and as I said, the controversy raged, and we haven't got enough time to talk about it on air at the moment. But Darren, this is harks of the days when you used to race Tony Ricciardello. You let it all out on track, didn't you?
Yeah, some great racing back with Tony back in the day, but whatever problem Cadell had there a couple of laps ago, it doesn't look like it's a problem now, and he's got the wick turned up. He's done the fastest lap of the race with a 12 dead. He actually got into the 10s on Friday, so we know that there's a little bit more there, but he's got a challenge ahead of him because he's got that wide car of Dean Cams, and it's got a little bit wider with the pipe out the side there to try and keep the noise down a little bit. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens here. Yeah,
well, we've got well over 2.5 minutes left in this race. It's plenty of time for each of them to feel each other out as the McGlurkin car just still off the side of the track there. They get through on Darden Brown, a guy running in the under 2 litre side of things. Big high wing bounded off the back of, I think that's a Gallant, so he's out there. Some tail end of the field there. There's Sam Imbruglio, Darden Brown, Reed and Tegan Collins in there as well. So Flames out the side there. We all know that race cars go faster with Flames coming out the side, and Dean's got that set up. And that looks like the front bumper off the Ippolito Commodore. And indeed it is. There's the number 97, sans its bumper.
I'm just wondering if maybe that smoke we saw at the start of the race is tied in with that bumper that's now no longer on the car. I'm not sure why it's come off, but it's clearly off, and hopefully it's not in a spot where it's going to cause a problem. Boy,
Tegan Collins is going to learn all about fast sports sedans in a second here. Great to have her amongst the field, and she's a sports sedaner at heart, but she's going to leave that inside running for these two to sneak through there. Cadell sneaks through. Tegan just runs a little bit wide and gives the cars coming through plenty of room. Well done to Tegan. She didn't have any beef with these three cars making their way through here. Goes down one lap with 1 minute and 22 seconds left to go. The fitness of Dean Cam hardly ever comes into question, and he will be relishing this to have another Ambrose in his mirrors. And it's not Rowan, it's the next generation, it's Cadell. He'll be loving this and keeping that right rear tyre nice and warm with flames licking out underneath the car there. Not that you need the right-hand side at Sandown to keep warm. By nature, the track works hard on the right side tyre.
No, look, he's driving well, Dean. He's not driving overly defensive, but he's putting the car clearly in the right position. He's done enough laps around here over the years to know where he needs to position the car to make it a challenge for the car behind. And this is a straight-out drag race that we've got going here, and it looks like Cadell's got that job done there. He's just popped it in a little bit deeper under brakes. Always hard to know, Daz. Do you go to the inside and make it hard? But then you've given the guy the ideal racing line who's going up the outside, and that's exactly what played out for Cadell there. He didn't have to change what he was doing. He was just able to drive his normal line, and he got the job done. But Dean doesn't look like he's
not giving up, is he?
No, he's still, filling the mirrors.
And the interesting thing is that Jim Policina's watching on here as well, and Jim's a guy that doesn't watch on. He wants to get in the mix. But at the moment, boy, the Audi is moving away very, very nicely. He's got dual duties this weekend. He's driving his old XL, which he won the 2023 XL Championship in. big for sale signs going on that at the end of this weekend. He's won both those races, and now Cadell, you couldn't pick a car more different to an XL to get out there in a brand new Audi sports sedan. And I dare say there's going to be some interest shown in this 17-year-old in the immediate future, because in karts he was immense. In XLs he sat there and watched how it all played out for the first half of the season, and then just turned the wick up and really delivered the results here. He's in a brand new car, and this is tricky. We're talking about a brand new car. It's a bespoke car. It's not something you go along and buy a GT3 out of Audi and it's 80% sorted and you put on new tyres every time you go on the track. This thing has to be sorted from front to back here. Jim Policina now ranging up into the back of the 5-star fencing Corvette of Dean Cam. And the Advanced Car Carriers Sports Sedan race, also brought to us by QP Lubes and National Blind Supplies. There it is. The checkered flag goes to Cadell Ambrose in the John Gourlay Audi. Mark it off today, the first day, the 16th of February, that Audi wins its first race. And you'll be able to mark your diary for years to come when that car takes the checkered flag first. And let's hope that Cadell can keep doing that for season 2025 as far as his career is concerned. Brett Dickey charging to the line. So it was Dean Cam coming home second, then Jim Policina. Brett Dickey grabbed the fourth place off John Ippolito in the last lap through. Greg Lynch charging towards the end of that one. And here comes the Matt Sims in the BMW. So that's a good drive by Matt, getting up to position number 7. Ben McLeod, thanks for the coffees this weekend, mate. Sadly, 8th position is not where he wanted to be this weekend. But getting home, here comes Darden Brown in the 18, making his way to the checkered flag. 1 lap down on our race winner, Cadell Ambrose. A good run there, Daz. Hopefully no controversy. Certainly no safety cars to cause controversy in that one.
Yeah, I couldn't see anything there that looked like it was going to be a problem up in the stewards' room after the race. So I'd say, looking at the finishing positions of that one, it's probably, the starting for the next one, they're all in probably their normal order relative to speed. So it'll be interesting in the next one to see how everyone goes. But another enjoyable race, Daz.
So we are all set for start. The safety car has accelerated away. Have a look at Dean Cam. Is he sending a message to the young bloke next to him? He raced his dad. How would you feel? You're out there on the front row of the grid in a combined sports sedans and GT field. If you liked it in the early 80s, give it a big like today. Thumbs up. They are line astern with each other. And away we go. And this is going to be immense as we head down into turn 1. Cam up through the gears, just belting it down there in the Corvette, and he is out wide. He's going to run the run down to turn number 2. Cadell Ambrose goes side by side with him. It'll be Cam though. He's got the inside running at 2. Up the inside goes Quimby on Cadell as well, and he deals with Jim Policina at the moment, but it's not Quimby. In fact, that's Kamal Mrad in the 77. He goes around the 66. Are we doing this by 10s, are we? So it's a 66 over a 77 as they go up the straight. So a Porsche against a Corvette. Gee, have a look at this. Is this the 24 Hours of Daytona? Corvette, Porsche, Audi, a mix of classes. The Commodore, an Aussie-built car in the mix there in 4th place. Dean Cam just not able to get the Goodyears to respond. The Michelin's responding on all the Porsches at the moment, and it's a bit of a coming together with Policina and Quimby down there. A little bit of a nudge in the door. Boy, not far enough up the side there to get that through. So that is the first salvo Porsche into the door of the Commodore. Tim Wolf, he doesn't want to get any scratches on this car this weekend. Just get used to driving it. And looks like he's really enjoying himself.
Sorry, Darren, I've been quiet that whole time, not because you were talking. It was too exciting. I couldn't get a word out.
Brett Dickey now, he looks up the inside of Greg Lynch and he wants to mix it up with these GT guys. Brett's got a bit of a history of driver training with Ferrari owners, so he knows what this is all about, trying to get round on the Commodore there. He's going to swing it wide. They're going to go side by side. You can't do that into the next one. Brett knew that. He lined it up nicely for Bollard's direct. John Ippolito in the 97 storms through on Greg Lynch as well. And we have got a race alive and well here at the moment. Dean Cam leading the way. Well, he was leading the way, and then Kamal Amrad in the 77 said, no way, 66, I've got you. We're going to play this game all race long, are we? So the number 3 of Cadel Ambrose, second generation racer. Young man, 17, a young man just up in front in the 77, and an experienced race winner, championship winner in between them. What this guy knows about winning races and championships, both these kids around him really need to stand up and take notice.
Oh, look, this is a great field, and I was talking to Kamal and Daniel out the back of the pits a little earlier, and they looked a little bit disappointed, and they've been winning and placing really well all weekend in great times, but they didn't have competition around them. They didn't have people breathing down their neck, and this is when these guys come alive. They're like thoroughbreds that need blinkers on. This is when these guys really start to have the elbows out and fight for position. It's fantastic to watch.
I'll tell you what, though, this wily veteran's not taking any of it, is he? Dean Cam for 5-star fencing. You want a fence built, make sure it's Dino. He'll get it done quickly for you. Have a look at this. Up the back straight here, climbing up the hill. It's ease for a Porsche and a Chevrolet-powered Audi and a Chevrolet-powered Chevrolet. So Ambrose storms through into position number 2. And these guys, even the sports cars that don't normally get ripple strips, are starting to grab ripple strips here. The sports sedans are doing it. And we see the number 3 now chasing after Kamal Amrad. He's got Quimby behind him. These guys knew each other for the short circuit version of kart racing for some time. And now they're doing it, and they're pushing their careers up to the big time.
I don't know about living with the front 3, Darren, slamming doors everywhere.
This is good. This is good mix right back down through the field. The mid-pack cars are really starting to find their way. Steve Sluger with Greg Lynch. These two will have a good race, and what a different iteration on what we're doing. And although these guys were probably a little bit pensive about this, I would say that we're now 3 laps into it. They're really starting to enjoy it. Everybody's found their level, and we're really starting to get part of it. Steve Sluger has been coming on, in fact, very similar trajectory to the guy in front of him, Greg Lynch. They've started to find their feet in their categories and really starting to thread. Greg Lynch has won a race, and Steve Sluger also. So they want it. They're hungry for it. They want more of it. The car up the road, the black Commodore there, that's a floor pan sports sedan car. Won the floor pan championship last year. And here's something really interesting: a sports sedan right alongside a sports car. And then we've got the GT4 in behind there. So Ben McLeod, he's racing it with a Porsche. And I bet you when they built that car, they weren't thinking about running up against GT sports cars alongside.
Absolutely not. But these guys, the brake markers are different, the lines are different, but their times aren't that different. So it's a really interesting exercise for these guys to be doing to put these classes together. You've got the GT cars alongside these sports sedans, and the way they have to race and handle the car is completely different, but they're going toe-to-toe. Look at that. Oh, when do you ever see this?
Stephen Sluger draws right alongside Greg Lynch, the dentist from the northern suburbs. There goes Tegan Collins. Here comes Adrian Reed. Should have been on board his Leyland Mini, but he's commandeered the wife's car and the Advanced Car Carriers Victorian Sports Sedans Championship in the lead now. It is now the Advanced Car Carriers driver, and that happens to be Cadel Ambrose. Takes the lead. Car number 3 on lap number 4 takes the lead. Cadel Ambrose has done the fastest lap of the race, and his fastest lap in this car. Don't forget, this car has done a handful of laps shaking it down. It is brand new. Absolutely brand new. This guy is 17 years of age, and he is absolutely driving magnificently. The onboard footage that has been posted on Facebook, you would expect the driving from a 30-year veteran of a 800, 750, 800 horsepower sports sedan. Interestingly enough, though, Kamal Mrad has said, yep, righto, Cadel, I know exactly who you are. I'm going with you on this.
Kamal just needs a bunny to chase and he'll be on it, but Cadel, that driving is just clinical.
Absolutely clinical. And what is interesting about him is his dad was, Ben McLeod.
Ben.
He's got it spinning. Let's not bog it down, because that's going to definitely bring a safety car out. And I'll tell you what, it's a good ad for the Phillip Island Cottages too. If you're ever looking for accommodation down the island, check it out, Phillip Island Cottages. As I was just about to say, His dad, Rowan, used to be the guy that needed a carrot dangled in front of him. I think Cadell likes to be the one out in front in fresh air and setting the pace. So interesting stuff. He's won 3 from 3 in the XLs. And a very cool head down the inside this time. Quimby goes on the Corvette. Porsche, famous brakes down at Dandenong Road. And Dean Can just opens the corner up and said, yep, I can't fight on with that. Safety car comes out.
Yeah, this is insane. This is insane. Cadell has done a 1:09 on lap 5. He's just getting faster and faster.
I think that Daniel Quimby went through on the yellows there at the safety
like
car
that.
out. So he has redressed. That's not in the rule book. That's a supercar rule that has come out. There's Ben McLeod going in. That's why we've got the safety car out, and the 72 parked up there. Thanks for the coffees, mate. It's been fantastic. Just anyone knows, it's not an in joke. He shouted the whole media team coffees today. So good on you, Ben. We'll look forward to seeing you at round 2.
I didn't get mine yet. Does that mean they're
It's
off?
because you have baby chinos. So there it is. The safety car picks up Cadell Ambrose. He gets a bit of a breather. And I tell you what, he's probably going to need it because the temperature inside that car yesterday, I think it was, when it was about 16 degrees ambient, was getting up to 70 degrees. They had heat tabs on the roll cage right next to his head. And his left leg from his ankle to his hip is sitting millimetres from the extractors. There's a nice piece of carbon fibre between him and them, but certainly it gets hot.
Well, for the folks at home and the uninitiated, he's also got 100% pure wool thermals on and a race suit and a balaclava and a helmet, gloves and boots. So that's 77. Take it up about 7 or 8 degrees.
Yeah, so that is something that people don't quite, those that are in the know around motorsport understand the cabin temperatures and the fitness you have to endure. That is why race drivers train so hard so that they can be at the front of the field. You've got to endure these intense conditions, and sometimes you've got to do it for a stint that lasts 2 hours around Mount Panorama. So these are very, very tricky conditions. Same thing for Brett Dickey. He's got that turbocharged car, and that sees immense temperatures in the cabin there as well. So the field just trickling through there. Dean Cam keeping it nice and under control. We just watch the whole field come down. Let's have a look at the order there, Em.
Yeah, Cadell is still in the lead by 1.8 seconds to Kamal Emrad. We've got Dean Cam, Daniel Quimby, Tim Wolfe in 5th. That's not a bad effort, actually. Cam Rees, Brett Dickey, Ippolito, Sluger, Lynch, Tudor, Sims in 12th. Policina, is it?
Yep.
In 14th. Love, McClurkin, Love, Carmody, Monga, Collins, and what's the last one? Sorry about that, guys.
So Ben McLeod, so it's Collins, Adrian Reed, Darden Brown and Ben McLeod. Ben parked up in the sand, so hopefully he gets a snatch and strap out of there and he can hit power and drive away, probably bring a fair bit of the sand trap with him. Still plenty to go here today, 4 races after this one. Formula V's will be next on track, so we've got a couple of open wheeler categories. Great to watch the V's and Formula 4s. Well worth staying here at the track. Indeed, well worth coming here to the track to see those categories. Improved production, which put on the race of the century yesterday. It was absolutely intense. Great viewing. Check that out on YouTube during the week. Have that going on in the background whilst whatever you're doing during the day or night. The Porsche 944 Challenge will round out our racing here for this weekend. You are watching the Advanced Car Carrier Sports Sedans and the Callis Kenny Intellex sports cars out on track, and we have got the Suda team that are looking after the AMG GT4s out on track at the moment.
Yeah, Zach Suda's running a really decent outfit down there for the guys at Team Suda. I was having a chat to him before. Lovely guys, lovely team down there, really professional outfit. Robin Bailey, it's their first time dealing with Team Suda, so good luck for the GT4 this year, guys.
Yeah, certainly. I saw the Tough Lift transporter and sort of thought, wow, that's a TCR team. What are they doing here? But clearly also an engineering prep company, so why not? You've got to do what you got to do. Let's get this field bunched right back up again, ready for a restart.
And there are my guys that are Cup Car Engineering, Andy Hall, Stewie, Racy. See you guys down there.
Racy's just looking out. He's going, where am I? Am I at Highlands, Mount Panorama? What am I doing here? Oh, it's a Sandown. Oh, I get to sleep in my own bed tonight. This is good. I'm only 10 minutes from home. So Racy JC, and on the odd weekend, straps on the driving suit and helmet and races his Honda as well, and does a good job of it. He'll be watching on in Two Hearts. He loves a sports sedan, but he certainly loves a sports car as well. It looks like we've run out of time, and there is the checkered flag under safety car. Well, what that does is that gives John Gourlay on debut with this Audi and this young man on board, Cadel Ambrose, 3 from 3 in XLs, now 2 from 3 in sports sedans. You cannot really ask for a better debut of a brand new bespoke car. You don't buy this car off the shelf. It is made in a shed in Oakley by John Gourlay and his crew. Cadel Ambrose has just driven it to a race win, albeit under safety car. Kamal and Rad, what a great weekend. Before this weekend, hadn't heard of him. He's made a pretty good stamp on my mind over this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Gun of a kid, and it's not the way that these guys would have wanted to end. I can tell they're all chomping at the bit. Kamal, Dean Cam, Daniel Quimby, it would not be what they wanted to end under a safety car because those guys were ready to hunt. So, yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but hey, still take the place. Good coming in at second.
Absolutely. So this has finished nicely for these crews. And let's have a look at it. Cadel Ambrose takes the win over Kamal Murad, Dean Camp, Dan Quimby. So Quimby, Murad takes the sports cars from Quimby and Wolf. How good's that? Tim Wolf into P3 in the sports cars. Ambrose to Cam to Brett Dickey. So Brett Dickey on the podium there. I've got to run and get down to pit lane to do these post-race interviews. Thanks, Em. Been great calling sports cars and sports sedans with you.
Thanks,
I reckon
Darren.
you're a bit of a convert to sports sedans though, hey?
Maybe. I like that category. I like the combined category. It's great.
It is good, isn't it? We got plenty more racing coming your way. In fact, up next is the Formula Vs and Formula Fords. We'll be back in just a moment down in pit lane. Sports sedans combined with sports cars have come into pit lane here. We've just got Sheng from John Gourlay's just opening up the car door for Cadel Ambrose. Let's have a quick yak. He's scrambling out of the car. It's boiling hot in there. Just give him a bit of room to get out there. He's just run 3 races from the XLs and he's just won John Gourlay, the second race for the weekend. Cadel, what a ripping weekend. What a ripping debut for the Audi, as he's just ripping out communications. Well done, young fella.
Thank you. Again, it was an awesome race, and massive thanks to John and his team for the opportunity and everything else with this car. It's an awesome car. It's proven itself well so far, so yeah. On
to the national scene, I guess?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah.
Terrific stuff. Cadel taking 3 wins from 3 in the XLs and 2 in the sports sedan. What a great weekend for this young fella. The young fellas are reigning supreme here this weekend. We've lost a Porsche, but we've got the 3rd place sports sedan here, Brett Dickey, who is warming up the passport. But I tell you what, mate, you have just come home 3rd in the sports sedans. A fuel leak moments before going to the marshalling area, but hey, 3rd place in sports sedans.
Yeah, it's not bad when you consider that a week ago we weren't doing this round. So, yeah, the guys definitely had their work cut out from this weekend with, like you said, a fuel leak just before it and changed the diff overnight and repaired damage. So, yeah, it's a good result to finish up on. And, yeah, definitely got to say hello to everyone in California watching as well.
So you are going to be racing the Project Imports car at the Pikes Peak race.
What's ahead of you now in the next few weeks?
So I head over to the US in 5 weeks to do some testing at an amazing place of Circuit of the Americas, and what better place to do a shakedown. So yeah, looking forward to what 2025 has in store for me. But yeah, definitely a few more announcements coming later in the year as well.
But for now, the Bollards Direct Honda, it came home in P3. We've lost our Porsche, guys. Back to you in the commentary booth.
Since being the first to make wipers over a century ago, Trico has protected drivers in all kinds of weather. Torrential downpours, gale force winds, wintry blasts, even when it's raining cats and dogs. Hey, who came up with that phrase anyway? Just imagine if it actually started... Alright. No matter what the conditions, Trico wipers maintain maximum windshield contact for safe, clear driving visibility, even in the harshest weather metaphors.